Our Showbiz special series revealing the secrets of TV crime shows continues now with fascinating revelations about another huge crime show on CBS, Person of Interest. The new season starts up next Tuesday on September 24th. And with us tonight from Hollywood, so happy to have executive producers Jonah Nolan and Greg Plageman. Great having you here, guys. And before we get to your show's secrets, I am wondering what it's like when you see things play out in real life that you guys perhaps only first imagine on a TV show episode or in a movie. Jonah, can you identify at all with what the cast of NCIS must be feeling right now?
I imagine it's very difficult. It's obviously a terrible day. The tricky thing for us, our show is about two guys trying to prevent terrible things from happening, and it's days like that when you remember that our show is just a fantasy.
Yeah.
That the terrible things do happen, unfortunately.
But Greg, you have been involved in shows in the past that are either ripped from the headlines or certainly emulate what goes on in real life. I imagine it's wild for you when you've been working on a show, you have some fictional plot line, and then you see it happen in real life. That has to be nuts.
Yeah, this particular show is very different from a number of the shows that I've worked on in the past. Obviously, NYPD Blue or Law and Order are a little bit more closer to reality, or as you say, ripped from the headlines. This show has a little bit more of a heightened science fiction aspect to it, and you know, the senseless tragedy that happened in the naval shipyard. You know, we would never want to trivialize something like that by glamorizing it in our show. It's just not what we do. It's horrible what's happened, and you know, you hope that someone that mentally ill would get help before something like that happens ever again.
Yeah, no question about that. All right, well, let's shift gears. Let's get some behind-the-scenes secrets from you guys, because Person of Interest is such an amazing show. It's doing so incredibly well. And one of the reasons we love it is we see this mind-boggling technology that's used to stop criminals before they actually act. Let's take a look at a little of that.
Your machine is telling me about all these people, Harold. Their secrets. I'm beginning to understand how you acquired such a dim view of humanity, Harold. Wait. How rude of me. I can see for the first time and you're blind.
Yeah, see, that's so spooky to me. I mean, it's hard to imagine that we're being watched and tracked everywhere we go and everything we do to the extent that we see in Person of Interest. But you guys did a lot of research developing the show, so I need this first secret revealed from you tonight. And Jonah, it's to you. Is there really some version of this elaborate high-tech system out there?
Yeah, it's called PRISM. We know that now. Greg and I have been kind of patting ourselves on the back all summer for getting our research right. I think the key difference with our show is that on our show it actually works. From everything we've heard, PRISM is still very much in a nascent stage where you have all of this information, you know, kind of spewing into offices somewhere, whether they're in Bluffdale, Utah, or at NSA headquarters, and sorting through all that information. That's the tricky part.
Yeah. And
so where we start.
Go ahead.
Where we started with the show was this premise of, well, you have all this information. They're really just looking for terrorists, but what do they do with all the rest of that information? What do they do with information they have about much more, you know, lower profile crimes that may happen? Or if they had a chance to stop them, would they take advantage of it?
Exactly, and that's why you can't help but, you know, kind of be paranoid when you watch Person of Interest. You're very paranoid if you use a smartphone or a computer or you live in a big city, which I guess pretty much covers all of us. But we do need to know how you make the magic happen on the show. And Greg, this question to you. Are you using actual surveillance cameras for your show? Because it certainly looks like it.
Absolutely. We have what we call our machine POV, our surveillance unit, which achieves those angles. But you know, when the show started and we were looking for surveillance footage, we were actually able to use some of the Department of Transportation's actual surveillance footage in New York City. Fortunately, everyone is pretty much familiar with those angles now, whether it looks like a fisheye lens or high angle. And you know, the entire city of New York now, the mayor has what he calls his domain awareness program. I think everybody is well aware that there are license plate readers and cameras on every corner.
Yeah, see, this is why I walk around like this all the time. I always have something in front of my face. I can't avoid it. But look, you guys have done incredibly well.
Over the cameras.
You're the 5th most watched primetime show, and I've got to believe it's because of these intense storylines you guys put out there. Let's watch.
1
o'clock. 9
o'clock. 2
o'clock.
Move now.
Let's go.
I just love how intense it all is. Such great storylines. Fans, of course, are always trying to guess what's going to happen next. So, Jonah, this secret is for you to reveal. Do you ever create alternate endings so you can keep people guessing?
Well, you know, JJ actually has his own surveillance apparatus. It's pretty extensive, and it watches Greg and I all the time. We're forbidden from talking about plot spoilers. But we do actually try to throw a lot of misinformation out there. The great thing about having a show watched by so many people is people are really interested in what we're going to do next. So we spend a lot of time, you know, I think Greg and I spend a lot of time making sure we're not being followed, making sure our email's not being read by anybody other than the NSA, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep looking over your shoulders and keep putting out great TV, guys. Thank you so much for being here, Jonah and Greg. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right, an all-new season of Person of Interest will premiere next Tuesday on CBS. You don't want to miss it.